Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. Today we are back inside Crusader Kings 3, and today's video we're going to talk about a few recommendations of where I think is a good and interesting place to start. I'm going to do a different video for each of the ages as we go through, and the first place I want to talk about is the Wrath of the Northmen. It's actually really cool. So they actually have, many of the sons of Ragnar from the TV show Vikings here that you can play with directly off the bat. You've got Ivor the Boneless, Bjorn Ironside, and of course Sigurd as well. All of them are really cool choices, to be fair, but we're going to go somewhere a little bit off the board. So if you want to see more Crusader Kings content, or you just happen to like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel. We also have an active and growing Discord. The link for that will be down in the description, and we welcome a lot more people to join. I'd like to see the community really grow there, and so we can all chat to each other. And I have to apologise if you can hear rain. We have absolutely terrible weather down here in the UK right now. Is what it is. Now let's go ahead and pick our player. Now the first people that I actually really like to play as is right up here in Iceland or Greenland. And you've got a bit of a choice here. On one side, you have the female choice, probably the harder choice. However, she's actually Catholic, which is interesting. And on the other side, we have playing as a male, playing as the male heir. However, these guys are tribal. Playing through as tribal right now is a little bit difficult because, unfortunately, the tribal heir, the succession, seems to be glitched. Hopefully, there's a patch for that can fixes it. But yeah, so that's going to be an issue when it comes to picking tribal. However, like I said, you do have an option here. You have the Catholic side, or you have the Norse side when it comes to religion. Religion is very, very important to think about when picking who you're going to play as, because, for instance, if we was to play as the North and take over, for instance, the whole of England, well, fast forward 200, 300 years, and you could very well have a holy war declared against you because of it. So take that into consideration. I like the fact that both sides here have heirs that we can kind of immediately go into alliances with, helping us have that extra power. But for the sake of this video, we're going to pick this guy right here. I'm not going to attempt to say his name because I will just mess up. However, I have played through as his character. I spent entirely too long with this character, to be fair, and we took over a huge portion of land. It was a pretty cool playthrough. But one of the first hurdles you have to kind of go through as this character is expansion, and expand early, because if you don't expand early, you'll find that Alba, for instance, will end up taking over all of these little islands here, and then you're really like in a problem where you got Alba being a big, massive country, possibly even coming over to attack you. So my advice to you guys is to expand early. Taking over the Netherlands is definitely a good idea. Getting a kingship in your first kind of life is also, or a kingdom in your first life, is very possible. It's hard, but it can be done. Of course, if you end up having multiple heirs, becoming your own kingdom is really the way to go without it fracturing playing as tribal, because of the way it's kind of glitched at the moment. When you are playing as a Norse and you end up making a kingdom, you have something called like a vote to succession, and as you know, your whole court can vote on who becomes the next heir. It's actually really cool the way it works, because the more everyone likes you, the more leverage you have over people, the more hooks you have on people, you can get them all basically to vote for who you want to be your heir. So I quite like the way that works, actually. And like I said, this is a really, really fun playthrough. Taking over the rest of this small country over here is pretty easy, to be fair. Going into the islands and over here it's just a fun little playthrough. But like I said, actually making that kingdom in your first life is the hard bit. If you guys try it out, let me know down in the comments. Be very interested to know if anyone actually does this playthrough, what kind of barriers they come into. I like playing as the Norse, though. I like playing as tribals. I think that they have an easier time when it comes to conquering other countries. And yeah, but I do think it's a lot of fun playing as this. Anyway, on to our second pick. Next up, we're going to go even harder this time. This is going to be an extremely difficult pick. If anyone manages to pull this off, top respect to you. You got to do some real work to get this one to work. So where we're going to go is all the way up here. And in this small kind of like cityscape here, we have this guy. Now, he's only 23, meaning he's got, a long life ahead of him. You're going to have a lot of time to be able to, get your foot in the door, so to speak. Again, it is tribal. Keep that in mind. I think anyone playing tribal right now needs to keep in mind that, in order to make sure what you build up doesn't split, you either need to have, just one heir, or get yourself a kingdom. Now, it's very possible to get yourself a kingdom playing as this character early on in the game and in one lifestyle time, especially as you are only 23, meaning you do have that time. You're actually able to have 3 concubines. You're not married already, so you can form an alliance or 2 off the bat, because you also have a child already in the game. So that's 2 alliances you can get yourself really early in. And the general idea plan is this, is to gobble up all these little bits here. And once you get them, you actually end up having yourself enough, or a big enough little army, as long as you invest in your military, in order to start eating away and working your way into the map. Now, like I said, guys, this isn't an easy playthrough. It's definitely tough, and possibly it's going to take you a lifetime at least to gobble up all of this, because you don't have very much available to you. You're going to need to be getting maybe 1 or 2 extra alliances, meaning you're going to need more kids, meaning you're going to have time to get married and stuff like that. But I like this playthrough. It's definitely an interesting one, and this guy actually has a little bit better stats than the last one as well. And like I said, because we're coming in at 23 and not into our 40s, it means we do have more time with this playthrough, to get done what we need to get done. And it is kind of a monstrous task, because you're not exactly taking on someone small. Next up, we're actually going to go a little bit easier on you guys. This guy is a little bit easier with what you need to get him to do, but it's still not an easy task. But we are moving away from tribal now. We're going to go to the opposite side of the map. And this little area here is full of all of these tiny little kind of like cityscapes. Tiny, tiny, tiny. The idea of playing as this guy, where is he, if I can find him? There he is. The Duke. Now, this is a feudal, which is a lot easier. Moving with the succession, the heir of succession. This isn't broken, for instance, so you can change it just by playing a game, which is fantastic. So let's choose him. If you look, he's already got an heir, which is good, which means you can immediately make yourself an alliance if you want to. The other good thing is not married and can take 3 additional spouses, meaning you can get those alliances up if that's what you want to do. If you want to start thinking about your dynasty as well, and having as many children as possible. When it comes to feudal, I really like feudal because, like I said, it's easier to change the laws of succession, so you can make sure you have your heir that you want. But also, when it comes to dynasty, you want as many living family members as possible, and so being able to have 4 wives is definitely going to help with that. The other thing I really like about him, he's a couple of things actually. His martial skill is actually at 13. And considering the aim in this lifestyle time's probably going to be to take over all of these little bits here, claiming up all this little bit of land before you start hitting a few of the bigger guys. His martial skill is definitely going to help out. Also, you have a few of these natural land barriers where people cannot cross. Therefore, if you have a strong army here, for instance, strong army here, this whole area is going to be nice and safe. So it's kind of a really good defendable area. You can kind of keep hold of this land really easily. And if we have a little look-see, he has a great stat. There we go. Military engineer, meaning siege times are less, 30% less, which is absolutely fantastic considering in our first life, we are going to be looking at, going into battles quite early on. And of course, we've got that young age at 27 as well, meaning we've got a better time to kind of, or more time to do what we're setting out to do. I think getting a kingdom in this lifestyle is definitely going to be something you're able to do. It's quite a fun playthrough. It can be tough. It can definitely, be tough. You do have a few bigger guys. I think when I played this last week, these guys over here absolutely demolished me. Went into war with me. I think 3 years into it, I died quite bad. I had to restart that playthrough completely. But it was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, let me know down in the comments if this is a guy that you take on. Like I said, this is one of my favorites, actually, when it comes to, going from kind of rags to riches, going from being a small player to, a global name. The number 4 pick that I've got for you guys is a little bit different as well. It's a little bit different from the other 3. Kind of going under the same thing. We're looking for someone young. We're looking for someone that you want to expand with. This time we are going for a clan. So again, it's a little bit different from feudal and tribal. And we're looking right here. Now, this guy is only 17, meaning when I was talking about earlier about having, one life to do something with, well, this guy, you've got a long time to be able to do something with them. One of the best things about them is a couple of the traits they have. They have Mastermind Philosopher, which is absolutely brilliant because it's given us a 40% buff in learning experience. For lifestyle, which is absolutely brilliant. I love going down the learning trait anyway, so we're going to be earning those points very, very fast. We also have, where it is, Zealous, there we go, which gives us a 20% monthly pithy as well. Also, if we go back up to Mastermind Philosopher, you'll see that this gives us a +1 to pithy every month as well. Meaning, if you want to go down the religious route, going down the holy wars, maybe even creating, your own religion and stuff like that, this is where you're going to get all your points and be able to do it probably within your first lifetime as well. The other interesting thing is about this religion, you're actually, required to have more than one wife, meaning your legacy, your dynasty is going to grow exceptionally fast. Again, you're able to have like 4 wives. You're going to be having a lot of babies, having a huge dynasty. When you actually start the game, you start with a single sibling and you have a child as well. Now, your sibling's unmarried, meaning at the beginning of the game, you can find yourself a nice little alliance power. So we'll go with this guy who's 17. I don't really care about matrimonious marriage. Usually I would. However, in this case, if we have a little zoom out, we can see we are surrounded by some, bigger guys than us, and definitely don't want to go into too many battles without having a little bit of backup. So I think having an alliance when you very first start off, and knowing that it's only your sibling anyway. I think she's your half sister. Yeah, your half sister. So this is quite easy for us. Also, we have a child that we can betroth to somebody, creating another alliance. We can have 3 additional wives, meaning that if we need alliances, we're going to be able to get them with this playthrough. And also, if we look, our army size really isn't too bad at 700. With this, we're quite easily able to take on a couple of our neighbors, as you can see. And of course, we do have the backup of alliance as well. Now, this guy's a little bit different. It's going to take maybe to get those alliances under the belt first, because it's going to be a bit of a tricky one. But yeah, this is a fun playthrough, and definitely one that you can expand very, very quickly if you're able to, come down here, go through these channels, then just absolutely blitz through these small cityscapes early on. I would try and focus on getting as many of them as early as possible, because you're not going to be the only one doing so. So yeah, get as many of these little cityscapes as early as possible within this lifetime for when you then pass it down to your son. But yeah, very, very interesting playthrough. Again, let me know if this is going to be one that you're looking at, because like I said, this is a fun playthrough. This is definitely one that you can focus on in this kind of corner of the map for quite a long time, and you'll be surprised just how much of that you can actually take over so fast as well. If you end up playing or staying with this playthrough for a couple of 100 years, things change down here quite often, and you do get a few big powerhouses too. But if you can make sure that you are one of those powerhouses or the powerhouse, like I said, fun playthrough. And lastly, we have a fun playthrough. This is definitely possibly the easiest playthrough, because you're playing as a big guy from the get-go. You've got a lot of land, you've got a big army, potentially got alliances, and so yeah, this is an interesting playthrough, but with the ultimate goal of what it is, I'll tell you that in just a second, is pretty amazing. So in this playthrough, we're going to be playing as King Louis II. Now, again, he's only 32. He is feudal, which is great. Of course, the feudal line isn't bugged, which is fantastic. And as you can see, we are playing as Italy. Really, the end goal, guys, the end goal, wait for it, is to restore the Holy Roman Empire. I mean, honestly, it just sounds awesome, and it's a very fun playthrough. You've got a long list of things that you need to do. You need to be very friendly with the Pope, for instance, or have a hook on him, I believe. But yeah, and basically just start invading the whole of Europe, expanding your territory until you eventually get to the stage of doing that. Restoring the Holy Roman Empire just sounds amazing. Definitely something, a goal that I'm willing to play through several times. It's a lot of fun. However, going up against West Francia at the beginning of the game isn't easy. Even going up against Britain, once it's finally unified, it will be unified by the time you go through your playthrough. 9 times out of 10, it seems to be Alba that wins, to be fair. A bit random, but there we go. But yeah, this is a fun playthrough. And you actually start with 2 children that you can marry off as well, which is brilliant. And also, you get this, the Fortune Builder, which gives us a 30% experience to stewardship lifestyle, which is absolutely brilliant, meaning that we're going to have a lot more money in our playthrough than most other playthroughs. And again, even if you do end up struggling for playthroughs, of course, because we're playing feudal, what that means is when we go to our military, we're going to have to be buying our regiments with gold, so and upgrading them with gold too. So having more money is definitely something you want to be trying to do. But as we are playing with what we're playing, we can actually request to the Pope to give us money for Piffy as well. So money really isn't ever a problem when it comes to playing as Louis. Really, the main problem is you start already at war, which is a bit annoying, but it's a pretty easy battle because, to be fair, you're going and taking over the rest of Italy. So as soon as you start, this playthrough is, off the bat running with wars. It's a very fast-paced playthrough, I think. And again, he's only 32, so it's not as if you have a limited amount of time to kind of get what you need done before it passes down as well. But yeah, I quite like this playthrough. It's a lot of fun. But guys, that's my five picks for who I would pick, what I would consider a fun playthrough. I didn't pick anyone in Britain. There's a lot of people that I like to play through personally, and taking over the whole of England, and found in England, found in Britannia. And also the other things, I think Ireland has its own kingdom, Wales has its own kingdom, and the same with Scotland as well. So that can be another video. But let me know down in the comments who your favourite pick is that isn't one of the ones already recommended to you by the game. Who do you like to be, and why? More importantly, what's the story behind it? What's the aim of picking that person? But if you've enjoyed this video, guys, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you get stuck on anything and want to see more videos on how to do this, how to do that, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget we've got that Discord as well. That link will be in the description. And until next time, I've been a monk, we've been a Critically Clueless, and I'll see you later. Happy gaming.